Let's assemble, boys. It is time to talk about elixirs in detail. Elixir basic. You get elixirs at Voldy's normal and Voldy's hard. 1600 and 1620. And here are the rewards. Watch. So you get these wisdom energy and you get elixir bottles. And the gold is 9k, and then the rebuy is 3,500 for normal and 4,500, 14k, 0.500 for hard and 5,500 for normal. So for hard mode, what you get is the energies, and these energies can be used to create bottles. 3 assets that you need to figure out: the energies and the bottles themselves, and the fragments you get if you dismantle them. And there will also be free trial ones from quest. Okay, so why is energy bottle, the elixir bottles important? You need to have 1 bottle in order for you to activate the minigame. And each minigame, you require a catalyst, and you require per gold for transfuse. In order for you to make a catalyst, you need to create it from the NPC, which will cost you 1 chaos stone and 420 gold to create 30 of them. So essentially, you need about 330 to do the whole elixir, 1 bottle of elixir. I will talk about the net positive of transmute later. Before, we have to talk about how transmute works. So transmuting, there's multi-phases. So this is the elixir simulator here. You have phase 1, where you choose 5 stats that you want to list it up. So let's say in between max MP, stagger, and HP regen, you choose one of them. And you transmute by using a catalyst and gold. So I got max MP, and then I want to add a mobility and critical damage, stagger, and first aid. This means the first step of transmute is complete. Then you're going to transmute 14 more times to get as many points on each area that you selected for, and it goes up to 5. During the transmute times, there's another phase where under 5 transmutes, you're going to be sealing these. So as in, you won't be able to activate points on them. And ultimately, you're going to be left with only 2 stats. And within that 2 stats, you need to have as many points as you can. So for transmuting the 14 times, you're going to go through many different RNG related assets to give it to one of these, 2 of these random 5 stuff that you want. For example, like modify effective your choice -2/+2, modify first aid -1/+2, and modify critical damage -2/+2. My suggestion is playing around with the Elixir simulator, and at the same time, there will be free trial ones from the quest. So trying those is also a good idea. So next topic is the important stuff. So the net positive per transmute is fragment prices that are over a certain amount of gold. So what are fragment prices? So fragment is obtained if you dismantle your elixir. And you get 6 fragments if you dismantle your empty elixir. So let's say you have an empty elixir that you created. You can burn this to get 6 fragments, just like that. But if you transmute, you get 1 additional more fragment. If you finish your elixir, you get 25 fragments. And you can sell these. If you guys want to calculate, do I need to finish the transmute or not? Is if you buy chaos stones for 500 gold, if fragment price is over 456 gold, you're already still net positive. And this is including calculating the catalyst, and this is including pressing the actual transmute. And catalyst can also be sold at a travel merch too. Advice here is you have to, first week, you have to finish your elixir so that you can make the money back as long as it's over 456 if you buy chaos stones. But usually most people do it for free chaos stones. So as long as the fragment is over 369 gold, you're net positive. So we're also going to talk about stats and the general strategies that you're going to do when you get the elixir until dismantling it, okay? Elixir stats is very complicated. You have different groups. You have general group, and then you have the unique groups. To understand it in simplest terms, general can be placed anywhere. Unique groups need to be placed at the certain pieces. For example, helmet have set bonuses, gloves have set bonuses B, chest has unique, pants has unique, and shoulders has unique. Therefore, If you happen to have an elixir, that is for the helmet. And if the other stat is for the chest, it only applies on the helmet section if you apply it on a piece that you don't want. This is the stuff that people need to understand, because sometimes when you do the mini game, let's say I have critical damage and mobility, this is fine. But imagine you have pants uniqueness and then you have the helmet and you're left with these two stats only. You will be able to only apply it on one piece. It's going to be 0. The general rule set that it should be 1 unique and 4 general, or 2 uniques and 3 generals. You have 5 stats. You have commons, right? So attack power is good. I have shoulder for guardian. It says shield effectiveness by party members. I don't need that, so I put stagger. I have headwear for luminary. This is for support. And conversion for head, which is the DPS one. That is really good. So let's say I have headwear here. And I have all the commons here. Choose whatever. So you have damage reduction on the chest. So I can take this if I want to. But if I have conversion and damage reduction as a final result, I can only put it on the head or the chest to make it to apply the points to it. So it is important for you to work on elixirs that are 1 unique and 4 common, or 2 uniques and 3 common, so that you can work on multiple of them. So in this case, you would do max MP because you have conversion headwear, and then you have all commons. So while you're playing the mini game, what you're going to aim for is maybe try the highest points on the set bonus and anything that is left over, but you would work on the attack power if you can. Now, hopefully you guys understood the basics there. Now, the next topic is what stuff that you should aim for. DPS class, you guys should focus on trying to get helmet and glove pieces first, and then shoulder, and then pants, and then the rest are whatever that is you want to do. The general stats are important is attack power, then stat, and then weapon attack, and then anything else is whatever. You need expert or conversion based on what your crit rate is and what your crit damage is. So for example, this is just a reference point. Let's say you have 200% crit damage. If your crit rate is 100% to 95, it's the highest efficiency, right? But let's say your crit damage is 250, which is like a keen blunt class, right? When your crit damage is at when your crit rate is at 90%, it's higher than everything, right? The red line is expert, which it gives you crit rate and damage. That's why when you have 50% crit rate, it's more efficient because it gives you crit rate and damage. So for entropy classes or classes that crit a lot, they happen to go conversion. But if you have low crit rate, they usually go expert. Expert is basically the super fancy version of adrenaline. The stat goes down if you get hit. And conversion is crit damage, but that is like calculated differently. It's like damage on top of, it's like bonus damage if you crit. So it's not a crit damage. It's calculated differently. So there's only 2 stats that you can actually aim for. Therefore, when you get your first 2 elixirs, right? You use the strategy of re-rolling until you get the stat that you want, and then probably work on a 5-4 or a 5-3 or a 5-2. Even 5-2 is okay on the set bonus. And let's talk about supports a little bit. Supports is even easier. Supports is helmet, and then pants, and then rest. Doesn't matter what you get. Because helmet and pants is the only pieces that gives you buff effectiveness. And as for commons, all you need to get is stats or weapon attack if you can. But if you can't, you can get whatever you want as many points as you can, because your goal is to get 40 set. And the 40 set mark that you need is luminary or march. If you can, I would work on luminary combat, luminary set bonus, because it's the BIS. Now let's talk about the 35 and 40 set too. So 35 is about like 12%, and 40 is 20% plus overall DPS increase. So this is like a ballpark number. This is not like anything accurate as well, because some players have like 27% damage increase, etc. But bare minimum, 40 set does have you increase at least 17%. Since this is so important, most people use the early strategy to rush the 40 set. And I'm going to show you how that actually work. This particular set bonus is what I want because I got conversion, right? I got conversion headgear and attack power. So I'm going to do the mini game to hopefully get the 5-5 or 5-4 or 5-3 or even 5-1 because that's 6 points total. Get as many points as I can while I'm having level 5 on conversion. Having a level 5 on conversion is more important. As I mentioned here, when I said that we're going for helmet and glove, shoulder, pants, rest, the helmet stats need to be level 5. That's more important than anything. Glove stat, level 5, more important than anything. Shoulder, level 5, more important than anything. Because that gives you the most boost of damage. So when I say work on helmet and glove, you need level 5 of the set bonus. So, okay, then how should I do it, right? So let's say I got something super bad, right? There's nothing good about this. Unless I could use it on a chest or something. You transmute the middle guy or one guy over and over. And if you do, you get 2 chaoses stacking up. And you have 2 rerolls. So if you reroll and you reroll again, there will be a reset attribute. I didn't get it this time. And this means you try to go for the cheapest method to dismantle it when your Elixir's done. So this, we call it the dead Elixir. You transmute as cheap as you can by choosing options that decreases your transmute gold, and then you finish the Elixir and then you dismantle it. That's one. If the Elixir's dead, if you get to reset it, you can reset it. So you choose it again, right? Because you reset. That's why it's called the reset angle. So let's say you do it again, and then I got boss damage, right? And then let's say you are getting a stat that you want to work on, which is boss damage, and I have attack power. That's something you want to work on. But getting level 5 boss damage is the #1 priority. Therefore, you're trying to do the mini game on it to get boss damage. But if you think it's not going to work, you will try to do the reset again. So for those of you who are wondering, when I said the cheapest option, one of the NPCs are going to say all the remaining steps of transmute are going to be free, or minus 20% or minus 40% gold. So those are the rice options if you have no chance to finish it. You guys are going to be net positive for a while. So finishing the Elixir is going to be worth it based on how much the fragments are going to be costed. So yeah, so the early strategy, what you're going to do is you gotta get a level 5 on the important part, right? Which is the helmet and the glove, the shoulder and the pants for DPS. And for support, it'll be helmet and pants only. And when you're finished on getting level 5 on the important parts, and which 6 and above is BIS, as in you can even have 5-1, that's still BIS because you can work on the other pieces to work on the 40 set for you. But getting the level 5 on the most important stats is the #1 priority for all Elixirs. So the absolute BIS and the players that gets 40 set really, really fast is players that get the set bonus as a 5-5. So if you get like a 5 on a set bonus and 5 on attack power, you're done for that piece. But even if you get a 6 or a 7, it is still good enough for you to use. So when you're done with the BIS parts, BIS attributes, you're going to work on jump pad. This is called a jump pad, which is a 5-5 on an offset to lower level elixirs. And usually you put it on a chest. DPS is extremely difficult because the chest piece is the only piece that allows any attributes to be 5-5. But supports, you have 3 pieces to be 5-5 on any attribute. Now let's talk about the minigame really quickly. The chaos stat increases when they're not selected, and order stat increases when they're selected 3 times in a row. For example, let's say I chose grandma here, right? And she turned blue here, the blue energy. If I choose grandma 2 more times, you get to choose the omega grandma stat. We call it the Super Saiyan mode. The purple stat is when they're not selected. As in, if I choose grandpa here, what's going to happen is Killmonger, we call him Killmonger. Killmonger is going to be 3 purple stat, and grandma is going to be 1 purple stat, and grandpa is going to be 1 blue stack. Watch this. Boom, like that. See? 3, 2, 1, and then 1. So you have to balance out the energy in order for you to get the Super Saiyan mode stat, and then the Super Saiyan mode on the purple stat. Therefore, the reason why we choose in the middle, so let's say this elixir is completely dumb. let's say you get all the bad stuff, right? This is useless elixir. I didn't get anything that is important. That's why you either choose one of the NPCs to activate reset. So I'd be grandpa, right? Grandpa again, grandpa again, grandpa again. 6 all these times. And at 8th step, you're going to get the Super Saiyan mode for 2 NPCs, and you get to reroll twice to get the reset. All you need to do is just press the reset, and then you do it again. So early Elixir days, which is week 1, week 2, I would say this reset strategy is viable because the fragments are so expensive. The reset strategies is not viable for Korea because our Elixir fragments are so cheap. It's 500 gold. On your server, it's going to be at least 1,000 in the first week, or like 800, 700, etc. So therefore, understanding the minigame a little bit, make sure you control the energy so that you know what's coming afterwards. And sealing happens under 5 transmute, as in when you're transmuting, you're going to be sealing under 5. So it says seal stagger, seal identity gain, etc., right? So I would say sealed stagger, right? And then you seal solo, and then you seal identity gain, and then you're left with 2. So you'll always be sealing under 5. The Elixir minigame strategy, generally what you want to put in your head is whoever controls the energy a lot, the energy points, which is the order energy and the chaos energy, if you control it well, you have a higher chance to get the max level 5-5, right? You have a higher chance to get a 5-5. The reset angle, middle until reset, you will kind of play around with it until you get something that is good. General sense is early for value play, which is until 8. And then you're going for order or chaos, the Super Saiyan mode, right? Around 8 to 11. And then there are 2 different strategies that you could do. If you switch from double order, if you switch from 7, you can get double order of the Super Saiyan. Or you can switch at 4 for order from the Super Saiyan mode for blue. So the reason why Super Saiyan mode for blue is important is because you get a free turn. Sometimes he gives you a free turn. So if I give you guys an example, this is a well-known strategy, by the way. Let's say you're just doing whatever, right? So I have 7 left. What you need to do is not press order. And let's say I can go for grandma or grandpa, right? Let's say I switch to grandma. If I keep choosing grandma over and over, I get a Super Saiyan word for blue. And if you reroll, sometimes you get free turn. And if you get free turn, it will still be 3, correct? But let's say you do it again, what happens is, since I get a free turn, you get to finish it off with the Super Saiyan Grandma one more time. And one time, if you get free turn again, that's 2 turns worth of free stuff. So that's a known strategy that most people do. And and switching at 4th step is the one that the other guys do, but like a different version. So it's like a different version. So as long as you guys remember yourself to switch at 7 or switch at 4 and work on the blue energy, you're doing it efficiently. So this is like the most efficient way to choose your options. But even if you choose the most efficient one, there's still a chance of you not getting the 5-5. So if I summarize it again, early transmuting, you go for value, and then you choose between the 2 strategies when you're switching at 7 or 4. You can do one full simulation to see, to understand this point. Add conversion order headwear. So you should be happy here because the first one, you got the set bonus. So you are doing the minigame for this, 100%. Now you're just going to hope for good comments like weapon power, attack power, etc. And now you have additional damage on the pants. You can select this if you want, but generally, when I was working on multiple characters, if you have a set bonus already, always leave that as one unique one. Because imagine you're playing the video game and it gives you conversion and additional damage on the points. You're screwed. When you're working on at least the super cool parts for it, always have the commons instead of like the other ones. So I have expert chaos too. So that's it. This is like a premium elixir. You're not supposed to see this often. Maybe because this is the simulator, you see it more often. You don't. You actually, it's so rare to see it is super rare to see set bonuses. So look at this here. So I have conversion, weapon power, HP regen, mobility, and stagger. I am going to work on conversion only. And add 1 point to random effect is a very, very efficient transmute, because it adds 1 point to whatever, right? Even if you don't get it, it's still okay. So the other one was transmute any ability, right? That's also fine too, because you can put it on the conversion if you want. But if you're going for a 5/5, you gotta add points as much as you can. So this skip one step, usually don't do it. It screws up your mana curve. They kind of say mana curve, but it screws it up. So I can do weapon power, see what happens there. I got 2 there, so I have 2 points on that stuff too. Modify conversion order at -2 +2. I could do this one and then have another energy point in there. Increase great success, increase chance for conversion order by 70% 1 step. So usually some other people can go for grandma or go for killmonger because you have another energy there too. So it's either this or this, right? So I got 1 there, so that's super value. Transmute conversion order. So this is the thing that I should click because I get to have triple energy for blue, and then I get to have 1 point in conversion, right? And then decrease chance for effect of your choice. You usually select the Super Saiyan one because they give you good stats. It says decrease chance for effect of your choice by all remaining steps. So I choose HP regen because it's kind of useless. And then I got great success in conversion order. So at this point, you need to finish this elixir because I can probably put this on the headgear. This is probably BIS. Most of the time it's BIS. But you will never select Killmonger because it add 1 point to mobility, remove 2 points from conversion, right? Seal mobility, skip 1 step, no value here too. Increase great chance for HP regions by 7% for all remaining steps. So this is all useless, but you never use reroll here. Never ever use reroll unless you're under 5 transmute. Okay? So out of these stuff, there's nothing to use. So I'm going to use Grandpa. Then you have the Grandma effect, which is -4 +5. So this is the NPC removal, the 6-star purple effect. So when you're under like 10, when you're under 10 transmute, some of the NPCs will ask that I will use all my power, right? So this is the Giga Gamba. But in this case, you don't need to do the Giga Gamba because I already have 5 points on the stuff that I want and 3 points on the stuff that I want. But if you're playing super risky, you can actually use Grandma on weapon power or do whatever you want, right? But the bad thing about using this here is you only have 2 NPCs left over to do whatever. And when you get the sealing part, sometimes NPC wants to seal your conversion, making it useless, correct? Therefore, when you're under 5, having 2 NPCs is kind of super risky. So this is like a question of like what you want to do, right? But anyone can do whatever. So in this case, you would skip the Grandma because it would completely screw up my elixir. So I would do Killmonger here, right? And then transmute weapon power, I could do that. But look, my remaining step is 7, right? So I'm going to go for that double blue energy strategy. So what I need to do is when you're at 7, just swap once, as in don't stack blue when you're at 7, okay? So in this case, I would do Grandma because I want to work on my conversion. Transmute it up. And now from this point, my only option is to choose just Grandma. And I'll tell you why, right? Modify HP regen. Great success on stagger. Now the blue Super Saiyan came out for Grandma, right? This is when I use the reroll. Reroll. 2 points. Reroll again. Add option 2 reroll attempt. So I failed it here, right? Seal conversion order. See, this is the reason why you need rerolls, or this is the reason why you can't delete an NPC. So she wants to seal it, but I have 2 additional rerolls from the earlier Super Saiyan mode, right? So I reroll here. Seal HP regen. And then seal stagger. And then seal effect of your choice. Transmute 2 randoms at once. I reroll here. And then sometimes you get a free turn. The free turn is the best. But it says on this set, transmute for gain 2 points. and I seal one of my joints. So I seal mobility, and then I'm gonna get 2 points for the next part. So I'm gonna have a 4-2, or a 5-1. So this here is 4-2. I can use this. So I got an elixir bottle that is good. Well, we're going to have more sessions in the future on live stream when you guys ask me for it. But even if it's hard, you just need to practice. Okay, that ends it, boys.